Good evening and welcome to the Sir David Wallace Arena here at Loughborough University. It is the first match night of the second National Badminton League season. Loughborough Sport versus University of Nottingham Badminton. Myself, Rob Hayes, and head of coaching at Badminton England, Neil Cottrill, alongside me. Neil, it's great to be back, isn't it?
It is. It's been a long time since the first set of finals for the NBL, so I know all the players are excited to get going, so it's really great to be kicking off in Loughborough tonight.
We are indeed back with a bang after a very successful first NBL season, and there's been a lot of action over the summer, a lot of changes to a lot of lineups. Let's just talk you through the order of play tonight here on this live stream for you. There has been a late change. We'll inform you as to why in a couple of moments' time, but first up tonight, it's the women's doubles. Lauren Smith and Jenny Moore of Loughborough Sport against Ellen Mahantha-Lingram and Serena Mida of University of Nottingham Badminton. Second on men's doubles, Peter Briggs and Greg Mayers against Adam Hall and Adam Qualina. Third on then the women's singles, Chloe Birch versus Yao Ji. Fourth, it's Henry Herskanen versus Eric Pang, and then we'll round off with the mixed doubles, Andrew Smith and Jenny Warwork versus Chris Adcock and Cheryl Synan. University of Nottingham Badminton have made a few international signings over the summer, and that's the reason that the order of events tonight has been changed last minute, because all three of their Dutch internationals, new signings, Cheryl Synan, Yao Ji and Eric Pang, are still in transit at the moment. How is that going to affect this match now?
Well, hopefully they can actually make it by their start time, because it's going to significantly weaken the University of Nottingham team. They do have a bench where they can bring in sort of players to infill if they don't arrive, all being well. So hopefully for the, on paper as we look at it at the moment, the lineups are really evenly matched, so it'd be great to see those Dutch contingent actually make it on time.
Not ideal preparation by any means, but we'll keep you informed as to when and where they are, if you like. Just a quick word on Loughborough Sport then. Runners-up last season on the finals day at the K2 Crawley, and they've kept the bulk of their squad. Are you expecting another strong season from them?
I think so. I think they started the season quite slowly last year, which they were sort of languishing around the bottom of the table for the early part of the season, which didn't really reflect the strength that they had in their side. And I think once they really got to grips with the different format and the different ways of playing, they really sort of came to the fore and pushed on hard towards the end of the season. And in the end, were really unlucky to not to sort of be the inaugural winners.
They've kept fans' favourites like Jenny Warwork and Henry the Hoover Herskanen. They brought in Andrew Smith as well, who brings world and Olympic experience to the squad. But it's kind of a good mix at Loughborough, because they've got some homegrown players that are here based at the university and train here as well. So it's a good mix of international quality and homegrown talent.
It is, and the Loughborough-based players that are a part of the team are also the sort of up and coming. The next sort of wave of international players within England as well, so it's a great opportunity for them to experience some high-level badminton in a very different arena. So it's really good experience for them.
Just a word on another new signing for the University of Nottingham Badminton, Jess Pugh, who impressed a lot at MK Badminton last year. She's been brought into the Nottingham franchise, but she's not actually here today because she's at the World Juniors in Peru. Bit of a big miss for University of Nottingham. It
is. It would have been great for Jess to get her first outing for Nottingham in the first match night, but she's going off. She's out in Peru for the World Juniors, and we'll have quite a strong chance of doing well, and hopefully we'll be pushing for medals over there. It's been some years since we've had anyone on the podium within the World Juniors, so a couple of years ago then they did quite well and reached some of the later rounds, but didn't quite have the level at the time because they were a little bit younger. But now they've got a bit more experience, more exposure to senior badminton, so I think she'll do well out in Peru.
And we'll look forward to welcoming her back to the NBL as well. Just a reminder that every match night in the NBL this season, one match is broadcast live on Sky Sports 4. Tonight it's Surrey Smashers versus Team Derby. MK Badminton. Surrey Smashers versus MK Badminton, the first game live on Sky Sports. So that's one that we'll try and keep you up to date with on this live stream. And do remember that you can watch this again via the National Badminton League website, nationalbadmintonleague.co.uk, on Wednesday. So give us 48 hours to wrap it around and you can relive all the action again, because it's going to be a very exciting one indeed. Joining the conversation with us as well on Twitter, at NBL_official is the Twitter handle. Make sure you use the hashtag NBL Badminton as well. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're supporting, who you're looking forward to seeing as well. The officials just being welcomed into the arena here at the Sir David Wallace Arena at Loughborough University. Decent crowd in tonight, Neil, and that's a theme across the entire league. Most teams get somewhere near full capacity on the night.
Yeah, I think it's been really good for the league, and I think each of the franchises have tried quite hard to get some home advantage and really get the crowd behind their team. It certainly worked well for Surrey Smashers last year, and I think the teams that visited Surrey got a real flavour of the sort of things that they could do within the NBL, and I think Loughborough, from what they've got planned for the opening of the match, have taken it on board as well.
They have indeed. Don't worry, you haven't lost us here on this live stream. The lights have gone down in a sort of dramatic entry here at the Sir David Wallace Arena. It is in complete pitch black as we get ready to welcome the players onto the court. And this, as you say, it's all about getting the home advantage. University of Nottingham Badminton don't travel very well at all. They get to win an away fixture in the NBL, and this kind of thing surely doesn't help them.
Well, it just adds to the sort of, like you say, the drama of the event, and I know it's something that the players really enjoy. It's very rare that they come together in team competitions anyway, but when it's almost in this sort of professional environment that's with the lights and the videos and all this sort of thing, then it just adds that extra little bit, and I think that's the reason why we've been able to attract some of the wider European players to the league this season.
Yeah, more and more of them watched it last year and have made themselves known and made themselves available to the 6 franchises here in the NBL. So it's good to see more internationals. As we keep saying, it's great to see young, homegrown talent getting to play against them, but not just getting to play against them, getting to compete and beat them on some fixtures last year.
Yeah, I think just with the slightly different format within the NBL, it's levelled the playing field a little bit for the less experienced players to have a real go at some of these more higher level players.
It is time to welcome the players into the arena, so we'll leave you with the pictures from the Sir David Wallace Arena as we welcome Loughborough Sport and University of Nottingham Badminton.
The world number 7 and captain, Chris Adcock. The rising Welsh doubles specialist, it's Owen McLean-Trollingham. Back in the NBL frame, Serena Mida. Easy fast rising Scottish international, Adam Hall. Starting the NBL's first ever Polish star, Adam Polina. Say hello to the Olympian and former European champion, Yao Ji. Another championship, Dutch international, Eric Pang. And making her NBL debut, Cheryl Simon.
back in vision here at the Sir David Wallace Arena as the teams were announced, as we keep saying, in dramatic style. Lots of flashing lights, lots of smoke as they go through their handshakes. Now, the lights will just take a couple of moments to get back up to full speed. But first on court, reminder that we have changed the order of events here tonight due to the fact that 3 of the University of Nottingham Badminton team are still travelling here to Loughborough today. So it's women's doubles first on. Lauren Smith and Jenny Moore of Loughborough versus Ellen Mahantha-Allingram and Serena Midder of the University of Nottingham Badminton. Neil, how do you see this one?
Well, the Loughborough pair would go on as favourites. I think they've got a little bit more experience, especially with having their captain go out first. Lauren Smith is massively experienced both domestically and internationally. She's in the top 30 in the world in ladies doubles, and it is the class act on court. We said before, Jenny is the homegrown Loughborough student and is playing in, sort of finding her feet in the senior European events at the moment and doing quite well, getting through a good number of rounds. And have been very successful to date. The Nottingham pair are much younger, they're a little bit less experienced, and it'll be interesting to see how Ellen deals with this, because when she made her debut last year, she was very much the young up-and-coming player, and in this partnership she's probably going to be the more senior player, so it'll be interesting to see how she can guide Serena through. We've got a bit of experience of playing in this format with the power plays and the timeouts and that sort of thing, so if they can use those things effectively, then it might level the playing field a little bit, as we mentioned earlier.
Quick word on the format then, if you're not 100% familiar with the National Badminton League. They play best of 5 games, first to 9 points, and there's no need, as in what you'd probably call traditional badminton, no need to win by 2 clear points, so you can win a game 9-8. And then if it's all level at 2 games all, we go to the tiebreaker. Interesting here because the winner of the tiebreaker is the first person to have a 3-point lead, or the first person to get to 5 points, whichever of those comes first. So it can be won 5-4 in the tiebreaker, and that has happened before. So not only is it the whole event as you like and playing in the team format, but it's the actual layout of and the structure of the games which adds to the excitement of this contest.
Yeah, the games are a lot faster. They it's very quickly. Can you completely lose a game? The players have to adapt, because obviously normally they play up to 21, so they have time to build, their position within the game. But in this format, they just don't have that chance. So, if you make a fast start, then it becomes very difficult to actually catch that up. So that's what I mean. It has levelled the playing field a little bit, and it gives the faster players a bit of an advantage, because they can just hit the ground running straight away and try and get that level of advantage. That's
what you've got to do. You've got to come out firing on all cylinders straight away. Another feature you'll notice here, this knock-up will only last 60 seconds, so it's just a very short amount of time for them to familiarise themselves in this full arena.
Yeah, the players will have been preparing sort of behind the stage, getting themselves mentally and physically ready to start straight away, because as you said, it's critically important that they make a fast start and they're at game pace straight away.
A couple of other things to mention for you. You may see next to the umpire's chair there are 2 power play podiums. The shuttle's there with the pink tips. Power play can be played 1 per game and 1 per player throughout the entire event. If the player selects to play the power play shuttle and wins the point, it's worth 2 points to them. But if you're facing a power play from your opponent, you only still get the 1 point to play against. So it's interesting to see how and when the teams use those.
Absolutely. I think that was probably the biggest thing that took a little bit of time for the teams to work out strategically when is the best time to play it. Some of the teams were using it or almost like saving it to win a match with it, or to win a particular set. So I think there's been a little bit of difference in how it's been approached. The other thing to factor in is that the shuttles fly slightly differently as well with having the pink tip. So we quite often see service errors or real sort of basic mistakes when the pink shuttle comes in. So it's massively important that they actually take advantage and make the most of those bonus opportunities.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we'll see how it's used in
Ellen
this women's doubles, because we are ready to get the 2015-16 NBL season underway. First blood to the home team. That will fill them with confidence It's clad in purple. The seating's purple. People have got purple clappers. The players are in purple.
Service over. 1-all.
I think one of the features that you'll see in the way that the Loughborough pair want to play is very much that Lauren Smith will be hitting hard from the back of the court. That's one of her major strengths, is her power. So the Loughborough pair will look to engage that as quickly as possible and try and keep on top of the rallies.
Service over. 2-1. Service over.
Very nip and tuck at the start here, 2-2.
There'll be a lot of nerves flying around, and you know, it's so important to start well that it can make panic set in. So.
Yeah, it's not only just the start of the match night and wanting to get your team off to a good start, it's the start of the season overall. Now a 2-point gap appears. And as you say, in this quickfire format, they can be extended very, very quickly. Remember, it's first and 9 points in each game.
That's a good hit from Lauren from back of the court again, and the other advantage, obviously, with having Lauren at the back is that means that Jenny's at towards the net area. She's a very accomplished mixed player, so is really adept at taking the shot early and really keeping the pressure on the Nottingham pair.
Well, the Nottingham pair were keeping Jenny Moore out of that rally for as long as they could, but as soon as she was able to step into there, she killed it straight away, and now the 4-point gap this first game is being controlled by Loughborough at the moment.
That's much better from Ellen there, sort of really, the first part of the rally has been, the first part of the game rather, has been the Loughborough pair being dominant and really pressing. So at that time the Nottingham pair were able to just take the fight a little bit more to Loughborough, because if the rallies continue like this, then the Loughborough pair are really going to dominate with the extra power that they have.
(7-3) becomes 8-3, and we have game point early on match night 1 of this new NBL season. The oohs go around the Sir David Wallace Arena because University of Nottingham Badminton save 1 with a bit of fortune off the top of the net. But out it goes, so Loughborough take the second invitation at a game point, and they take the first game 9-4. Strong start for the home side.
Very strong start. They've used their power to great advantage. At the same time, Lauren, we mentioned, is very powerful from the back of the court, but showed a good level of variation as well, so that the Nottingham pair couldn't set their defence and just get used to the power coming all the time. So using some slice overhead and just varying the speed that the shuttle's coming at. It just means that Loughborough can play exactly the way that they want to, and have got Nottingham right on the back foot.
Just a note behind the scenes, we have seen a couple of University of Nottingham clad tracksuited players arriving with suitcases, so we believe that some, if not all, of their international players have now arrived here at Loughborough. If you are just joining us, we have had a slight change in the order of events tonight because University of Nottingham's 3 new signings that were delayed due to the fog that we've had over the last couple of days here. But it looks as if they have arrived and will be ready to play a bit later on this evening. But focus firmly on this women's doubles at the moment. And it's all going the way of Lauren Smith and Jenny Moore so far.
Service over.
I feel that University of Nottingham pair have got to kill the rallies quite quickly. If they get involved in anything too lengthy, then they'll be outpowered.
I think you're right. I think it's really important that they make a decent start to the second set, because if they go 3 or 4 points down in this one, I really fear for them. Their confidence levels are going to be really low. So it's important that they just get a feel for the game and actually competitive within the rallies, and that should hopefully then bring their level up.
Mistake there from Serena Mida. They've just got to settle into this as quick as they can.
It's interesting because I think in commentary in the finals last season, we talked about Loughborough being a bit of a steamroller, and they just, with the power and aggression that they rolled over Surrey Smashers in the semi-finals last year, and it seems like they're pretty much starting off in the same vein. Very dominant and really putting a lot of pressure on Nottingham early on.
Just constructing the rallies the way that they want to play them at the moment, Loughborough. University of Nottingham aren't able to dictate anything at the moment.
Lauren Smith's playing a really clever game. She's just looking for the shuttle so early and really pressing in, so that there's just no time for the Nottingham girls to really set themselves.
As soon as they split them straight down the middle, you saw Ellen and Serena just switching there, sometimes playing front, sometimes playing back, but when they split sides and that shuttle went straight down the middle, that's where Loughborough found a lot of joy so far.
Yeah, again, it was just another great example of Lauren's power from the back of the court. Both pairs were sort of trying to find the space, and then as soon as the lift went up to Lauren, then you knew pretty much it was going to be a fairly short rally from there on.
Service over. 3-5.
It's more like the kind of point that University of Nottingham are hoping to put together. It's just about putting a few of them together in a row to try and build some momentum.
That was a little bit loose from Serena Mida there. Again, the Loughborough girls were sort of really pressed the net and made it very difficult for them to play. So, really tough shot for Serena to have to play.
Is a new format for you to the NBL. Something that we didn't mention when we went through the various different rules is the timeout. 1 timeout allowed per team per event, and University of Nottingham Badminton's Martin Lewis has opted to call that now, with his team trailing 3-6 and by a game to nil already.
Yeah, I think it was important that the momentum of the Loughborough pair was broken there, and if it had gone on for a few more points, then you could see Nottingham being two sets down and really struggling in this event. So I think it's a difficult conversation for Martin Lewis to have, the head coach from University of Nottingham, but if nothing else, he's broken that momentum and he's refocused his players, and hopefully they can move on from here.
Quite the desired effect straight out of the timeout. 7-3 now to Loughborough.
That's a really nice return from Mahen Thrillingham there, and sort of made a very short lift, which Mida could then smash away for the point.
The call was good from the Nottingham bench as well, but again, it's just Loughborough aren't letting University of Nottingham put any kind of run of points together. It's another game point to Loughborough to take a 2-game lead. And they do so. Too hot for Ellen Thrillingham to handle. So very, very quickly indeed. It's the home crowd that are the noisiest at the moment. 9-4 again. Loughborough take the game. They lead now by 2 games to nil, Neil, and this could be over very quickly if University of Nottingham don't find a way back into it.
The problem is that the Nottingham pair are being beaten in all facets of the game at the moment. Their defence isn't able to cope with their attack, and when they do get the chance to attack themselves, then it's only on rare occasions that they've actually been able to breach the Loughborough defence. So it's a tough one for Nottingham to really pull themselves out. They need a little bit of inspiration from somewhere, and hopefully that the Loughborough players' level will drop a little bit.
See what they've got in the 3rd game. small mistakes, small margins of error that are costing them at the moment.
That was a little bit more positive from Nottingham though, so that's the way that they have to play, but they just have to take the chances, as you said.
Yes, head in hands from Henther Rallingham. 2-point gap already. That was a couple of good defensive shots there earlier on in that rally by Ellen Mahantha Rallingham. She handled the power a bit better that time.
They just moved the shot around and tried to give it so that the Loughborough players weren't set when they were hitting down, and a rare mistake from Lauren Smith in the back of the court.
2-point advantage restored very quickly though by Lauren Smith and Jenny Moore. Straight down that corridor of uncertainty, if you like.
Not much uncertainty when the lift is that short. Then you know, Lauren Smith's great from the real right at the back of the court, but anything half court, then that gets murdered every time. Pretty good at the net as well. That's a really good take from the. You know, did sort of get the slice of luck with the net cord, but took the shot so early, then had every chance of going over.
Kills that one as well. 6-1 the score now. 3 more points required to put Loughborough 1-0 up. Long from Serena Midder. Power play is being taken by Lauren Smith and Jenny Moore. Jenny Moore will serve it. If they win this point, it is victory for them. 2 points, remember, on offer for the team that chooses to play the power play, and they played it at the perfect time. Into the net from Mahantha Rallingham. The power play shuttle goes into the crowd, who celebrate the third game 9-1. Loughborough Sport clinical there. 3-0 they take the women's doubles, and they lead 1-0 on this match night.
Absolutely, I think this was one of the strongest events for Loughborough on paper. And you know, we said right at the top of the stream that, you know, with the format then things can be levelled a little bit, but the Loughborough pair, Lauren Smith and Jenny Moore, really showed their class and their power and their pace and control, and just completely dominated that.
They absolutely did. Very quickly indeed then. It is last year's finalists, Loughborough Sport, who are into a swift advantage. The home crowd very much enjoyed that, and we talked about when would the power play be used. Some teams like to save it in case there's a tiebreaker at the end, because it does give you a very strong advantage in that, but used at the perfect time there. And that third game, really, do you think that University of Nottingham pair already felt that they were beaten?
I think the way that the first 2 games had gone, then it would have taken something exceptional for the Nottingham pair, and I just think on this day, with the lack of experience against, you know, higher ranked players, then they just didn't have it in the locker today. But you know, it's been a great experience for them. Probably not an enjoyable experience, but hopefully something that they can learn from and pick out areas of the game that they can develop and move their games forward.
Quick turnaround here at the Sir David Wallace Arena at Loughborough University. We are just about ready to get the next match on the way here. Peter Briggs and Greg Mayers of Loughborough Sport versus Adam Hall and Adam Qualina of the University of Nottingham Badminton. Are we expecting, or are we hoping for a bit of a closer contest in this one?
I think this one will be closer. Obviously, Adam Qualina is making his NBL debut, so you know, hasn't had experience of playing in the short format with the power plays and timeouts and all the other features. Adam is a young guy. He's Scottish #1 junior a couple of years ago, and he's making his way in the senior tournaments at the moment. Had a good weekend out in Hungary. Got through to the later stages of the men's doubles there, so he's a real up-and-coming star in British badminton at the moment. So it'd be great to see how they gel together. And you know, against them, the Loughborough guys of Greg Mayers and Peter Briggs have played this format a couple of times. They've had good experience. They've beaten some higher level players. So, you know, on paper you might think that because of their experience you might favour the Loughborough guys, but but certainly the Nottingham boys have really got that level of play that certainly could take this.
They have indeed. The two Adams of Nottingham. Qualina, as you say, is the first Polish player in the NBL, which shows how far-reaching it was last year in its successful inaugural season. A word on Adam Hall, though, because he was arguably one of the picks of last year's competition, and was exactly what the tournament's about. This pair are exactly what the tournament's about. An international player that's come into the English scene here, and Adam Hall, who is an up-and-coming youngster, homegrown here in Britain, really excelled last year.
Yeah, he was the one of the real stars of the competition. I think he didn't start the first couple of games, but then made a really good debut and sort of was successful and really showed that he could deal with this level of competition, and has played really well so far and thoroughly deserves his men's doubles spot in the team alongside the other Adam. I think it's really interesting. I'm interested to see how Qualina plays. He's one of the top men's doubles players around Europe at the moment. He's been really successful and is a really strong, fast men's doubles player. So I think he's a really great addition to the NBL, and it just shows the sort of ambition of the University of Nottingham Badminton to sign him up for the season.
Yeah, he is currently world number 27, Adam Qualina, so he is a top player indeed. He said he watched all of the first season and every game was tight, and he really likes the format and thinks he'll be well suited to it. So we'll see how this pans out. It is the second event of match night 1 here, the second season of the National Badminton League. It's the men's doubles.
Service over, 1 love.
This will help University of Nottingham Badminton just settle in here. A couple of gifted points, really.
Yeah, it's been a nice fast start for them.
Just a half a second delay while we waited for the call there. Greg Mayers let it drop and wasn't sure.
Service over, 3-1.
Grimace on the face of Peter Briggs there as he put that one into the net. 2-point advantage restored early on here for the Nottingham pair.
There's some fairly loose points early on. I think obviously, all these guys are nervous and want to put on a good show, and the men's doubles as it is, it's so fast and furious with, with good control needed around the net. Then until you can really get to the pace of the game, it's quite common to see these sort of like really tense sort of early stages of a game.
Service over, 5-3.
It's nice early from Mayers there. Sort of half a chance really, but took it so early and with good control that it made it really difficult for Qualina at the net.
Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant from Greg Mayers. Longest rally of the match so far. That's the kind of rally that the crowd like to get into and finish off in style.
I think the more we get into this match, the more of those sorts of rallies we'll see. All these players are really, obviously, highly skilled and really fit athletes. So, those sorts of rallies at that pace, and then for Mayers to see the spot, the space on the court and have the control just to pull it out. It was an absolutely fantastic shot.
Great to watch, and it's levelled us up here at 5-5. Just A mistake again at the net from Peter Briggs.
Service over. 6.
Yeah, it was a tough shot to play, and it made it even more difficult because Quilina had played a nice tight net shot, but followed it and really put a lot of pressure on him, so that he forced the error rather than it being unforced.
6-6, we're level again. We said we wanted a closer contest in this men's doubles. We've got it so far.
6 all. Service over. 7-6. Game point.
A couple of points in a row for Adam Quilina and Adam Hall, and they have a game point here to get the first game on the board for University of Nottingham Badminton tonight. And they do get it. He's quite vocal, Adam Quilina, and this is his first game in the NBL, and he'll be feeling a lot better about it.
Yeah, certainly men's doubles at this level is very aggressive, and quite often the pair that can be a little bit more intimidating and really put pressure on can be really successful. So it certainly seems to be the way that Quilina plays, and he's bringing that out of Adam Hall as well, who's normally a little bit quieter. So they're both looking really pumped up and feel like they've got the momentum going with them. In contrast, if you look at the Loughborough pair, look a little bit shell-shocked. They were right in there, nip and tuck all the way through, and then the Nottingham guys were able just to raise a level a little bit at the end and managed to take the first set.
3 points in a row from 6-6 to 9-6. So University of Nottingham Badminton 1-0 to the good here in this men's doubles match. Adam Hall working hard from side to side, and Adam Quilina finishing it off for him.
Interesting there, he played a really good angle there, but just at the end of the first set, Chris Adcock had mentioned something from the side of the court, and after he hit that shot then he pointed at Chris, so whether it was something like, try and hit that shot into that spot there, so some little bit extra coaching from Chris Adcock there.
Fascinating ones where you get to see the skill of each and every one of those four players out on court.
1-all.
It's interesting because the way that Hall and Quilina are moving around each other, it looks like they've been playing together for some time. They almost know where each other's going to go. So they've obviously built up a really good understanding very early on.
Quilina signed for University of Nottingham in August of this year, so he has had a couple of months knowing that he was going to be playing in the NBL to get himself used to it, but with their regular season it's difficult for the NBL teams to get much training time together.
It's good defence from the Loughborough guys there. Nottingham brought all the power and pace. Were really pressing the net, but Loughborough stood firm and managed to force the error.
2-2, it's tight at the start of this second game as it was in the first. Good awareness of the dimensions of the court there from Peter Briggs. Lets that one sail over and out beyond him. So they're 3-2 up now. And at the other end, not quite so well judged by Adam Hall.
Yeah, I just feel for the match, it'd be great for Loughborough to take the set and level it up. So it'll really sort of maybe bring the best out of the Nottingham boys as well. So they've certainly got their noses in front now. Can they keep it? That's really good power and pace from Colina. That, you know, when he does get those opportunities from the back of the court, he does hit the shot very hard, and with Hall covering the net, then it becomes a difficult defensive possibility.
Nicer at the net this time from Peter Briggs, cutting it all the way across, re-establishing that 2-point lead.
Yeah, it's a great angle. One of Pete Briggs's major attributes is the coverage that he has at the net. Being such a tall guy, then he's there so early, making it very difficult. But he's able to hit those really sharp angles.
Didn't quite reach that one in time though. University of Nottingham staying in touch.
4-5.
There really isn't an awful lot to choose between them at this stage.
That's good attacking from the Nottingham pair again. You know, considering that Adam Hall's the least experienced player on court, he's really showing himself to be a really talented men's doubles player. Playing with a much more experienced partner, and you know, some players could shrink and struggle under that level of expectation and pressure, but he's really shown himself.
Service fault called. Service over, 6-5.
So the service just there explaining to Adam Colina that he thought that he hit the shot above his waist. One of the rules of service is that it has to be struck below the waist, which is normally seen as the lowest rib.
Service over, 6-all.
Quickly out of the mind of the Nottingham pair though. They level again at 6-6. It was from this point in the last game that they got 3 points in a row. Not going to happen this time for them. The home pair just have managed to, every time it's been level, just edge themselves back in front again. They've just always got a nose in front in this game. 2 points away from leveling it. Adam Colina called that a long time before the line touched it. 7-7. Remember, no need in this format to win by 2 clear points. It is first to 9 points wins the game regardless.
That's really tidy from Colina there. Really good serve, and had the presence of mind not just to hit hard. Saw a little space on the forehand side and just controlled and cut the shuttle down into it. Really good shot.
Game point for University of Nottingham, looking for a 2-0 lead. And they get it as well, and it's a good, strong reaction from Adam Colina. 9-7, a little bit closer this one, but again it's gone the way of the Nottingham pair.
Yeah, I think he's clearly enjoying himself, and he's playing really well, and bringing Adam along with him for the ride too. So a real tough ask now for the Loughborough pair to get themselves back into this, but certainly not beyond them, because as you say, they've been in the games, the 2 games so far, so if they can just keep that level of composure and not force it too much, but at the same time try and knock the Loughborough pair out of the Nottingham pair rather out of their stride, then this game's still not over.
Certainly is not over, but it's looking favourable for University of Nottingham at the moment. Remember, they trail 1 event to 0 overall on this match night, having lost the women's doubles earlier on. Looking to hit straight back here, and they're going the right way about it.
We've not seen a timeout or a power play yet from the Loughborough guys, so they'll have to do something in this set. A bit more control over that rally then, kept the shuttle going down, and were a little bit more patient and waited for the easy kill, which Peter Briggs then was able to dispatch quite comfortably.
Service over, 2-1.
But they could do without those those kind of errors creeping in straight after they've had a positive point.
Very similar to the shot in the first set. We saw that space. Really difficult shot to execute there. Had to have a really good control over his racket head, but just steered the shuttle into that spot for a clean winner. Really good shot again from Greg Myers.
But once again, they follow it up with a service error, and it just keeps breaking up their momentum. Look, not quite on Adam Collina's side. They give the net a bit of a stare there, as if to say you should have been more forgiving. Now the lead for the Loughborough pair.
Timeout claimed by University of Nottingham
It is
Badminton.
a timeout called by University of Nottingham Badminton. Coach Martin Lewis, probably just to break up the rhythm of the run of points.
Yeah, I think it was a good time to call the timeout. You know, it was in a very strong position, being 2 games up. So, you know, if they can just get themselves back into this one, then there's a good chance this event will be over fairly quick. The Loughborough guys have got a little bit of control back, and providing, as you say, they can cut out those service errors and just sort of giving those points away a little bit, then you know, they're going to start fancy themselves. Plus, they've still got a power play that they can use as well to keep them in the match if need be.
And you feel if they do take this game and bring the fixture back to 2-1, then the crowd are going to be back on their side and more vocal. And that could give them the boost that they need. They lead 5-3 at the moment. First point out of the timeout goes Loughborough Sport's way as well.
6-3.
6-3 quickly becomes 7-3.
Service over. 4-7.
Couple of points in a row this time though for University of Nottingham Badminton. I did just wonder if the Loughborough pair were considering possibly using the power play to get themselves back into it at 7-3.
Yeah, they could have taken it then. I think now it's that opportunity's lost.
But if they were thinking about saving it for a future game, they might not get to that future game, because this is 3 points in a row now for University of Nottingham Badminton.
Absolutely, and
Power play claimed by University of Nottingham Badminton.
I was just going to say the more experienced pair of Loughborough that are used to playing this format possibly have missed a trick there and are in real danger now of Nottingham stealing the march on them.
They are, and of course Loughborough Sport cannot now use their power play because University of Nottingham have employed theirs. So Loughborough Sport win the power play point, so it is just a 1 point for them because they didn't choose to play their power play, but they've saved what was going to be a match point, and they have a game point of their own now. Convert it at the first time of asking, and that's the noise that we wanted to hear from the Sir David Wallace Arena here. A lot of clappers in the crowd, a lot of home support here, and Loughborough Sport are back in this. 9-6 they take the third game, they still trail 1-2.
Yeah, it's a much better showing from the Loughborough guys towards the end of that set there. You know, a little bit more solid and a bit more positive. And I think if they can cut out some of the more basic errors that they've been guilty of in the first 2 sets, then there's still another chance in this game.
We promised we'd keep you up to date with what's happening down in Surrey in this match night's other fixture. Surrey have taken the men's doubles against MK Badminton by 3 games to 0. So Surrey leading MK Badminton 1-0 in tonight's other fixture. It's 1-0 Loughborough Sport here after the women's doubles. But we've got a game on our hands in the men's doubles now. That's a good variety of shot there from Adam Quillina. Looked like he was going to swing all the way through that again, just dropped it a bit shorter.
Yeah, he just cut across the inside of the feathers there, just to take all the pace out of the shuttle, and Adam Hall was alert of the net to kill the winner. Doesn't look happy about that. He's been called again by the service judge for striking the shuttle above his waist. Doesn't look too happy there.
Cheap point to give away as well.
For a big guy, Peter Briggs was into the net so quickly then. There was only a half chance, maybe not even a half chance, but he was so quick to see the opportunity and just stuck it on the floor. Fantastic shot.
Very agile for 6'4", isn't he?
Yes, and Loughborough have certainly got their tails up after taking the last game, and having a 4-1 lead now in this one, you've got to fancy them as favourites to force the tie-break.
Quillina couldn't quite get set quick enough for that, and threatening to run away with this 4th game. Loughborough now 5-1. Briggs was almost playing that point on his own. He was flying around the court there. He does cover it very, very well. Just one shot too far for him on this occasion.
Yeah, I think he had a bit of a gamble for the last one, hoping that he would have a swing and a hit, but unfortunately it was a swing and a miss, and it's given Nottingham the point.
Another example of the soft touch that Peter Briggs has got at the net there. No way for Adam Hall to get all the way across and reach that.
Yeah, one of the more difficult skills in badminton is to move quickly and hit soft. And he was in so quickly then and found a really good angle that Hall was just not able to cover.
Bit of hitting practice for Adam Hall, but Adam Quillina steps in to show him how it's done.
Yeah, strong defence from the Loughborough pair, but I think it was a matter of time before the Nottingham guys managed to smash their way through. Even with a broken string for Quillina, he still managed to put the shot on the floor.
(4-6) now with Quillina serving. Easy exchange at the net. Adam Hall not quite able to get it back over. 7-4. Loughborough pair still not choosing to play their power play, maybe saving it for the imminent tiebreaker that we might be seeing.
Again, you see sort of Peter Briggs has been quite quiet in the early stages of the game, but he's certainly coming more to the fore now as the more experienced senior player, and he's having a far bigger impact on the game.
That one was easy finish for Adam Hall. Teed up nicely for him to kill straight down. 5-7, still the gap 2 points. Hall's tried to duck out the way of it. It's caught his shoulder, so it is game point to Loughborough Sport. A chance to level at 2 games each and take us to a tiebreak for the first time in this 2015-16 NBL season. Back over the net, so Loughborough have turned this right around. 2-0 down they were, 2-2 it is now with a 9-5 win in the 4th game. Here comes the tiebreak. I
think on balance, that's about right, isn't it? The University of Nottingham pair had a really electric start and really took it to the Loughborough guys, and then as Peter Briggs has come more into the game, then he's had a big influence on the second half of the match. So to actually see a tiebreak is a great thing for us, and I'm looking forward to see who's going to win it, because it's difficult to predict at the moment.
It is indeed. Just looking at the power play podium there, doesn't have the pink shuttle on it for Loughborough Sport. Is that the power play shuttle in Peter Briggs' hands?
Final game, Loughborough Sport playing their power play.
It is indeed. So they saved their power play. This for a chance to take a 2-love lead in the tiebreak. Remember, first 3 clear points or first to 5 wins it. And University of Nottingham have stopped Loughborough Sport from converting their power play point. First blood Nottingham in the tiebreak. From Adam Quilina. You could cut the tension in this arena. It's 1-1. Every point so crucial in this format, but particularly in the tiebreak. A mistake, but it wasn't a clean contact for Adam Quilina, and it was finished off by the Loughborough pair. 2-1 they lead now.
It's interesting, the early net exchanges after the serve, there's so little margin for error, so when the game opens up into the longer rallies, it's really competitive, so it's a really good dominant rally from Loughborough then.
Covered a lot of ground to get the first one back, but they can't get the second one back. 3-1 it is now, and it's match point to Loughborough Sport. Remember, it's got to be won by 3 clear points or first to 5 in this tiebreak. Match point Loughborough Sport to win this from 2 games behind. Ooh. Greg Mayers was just about to celebrate there, and it was called out. It gets the nod from the umpire as well.
I think the interesting thing was that the fact that Quilina called it before the line judge had made his decision. So I think that's what the Loughborough guys were a little bit annoyed about.
That's just wide as well. So it's 3-3 in the tiebreak. Now it is first to 5 points, whoever gets there first. No need to win by 2 clear points. Goes wide, it's 4-3, University of Nottingham. They have a match point now, and the timeout is called by Loughborough Sport's Andy Wood. What a time to have to have a timeout.
Yeah, that's an interesting call. I suppose you may as well use it and have a chat with the players, but wow. I'm not quite sure what you can say strategically about different ways that they can play. It's literally just to break the fact that Nottingham won the last point.
We will only play 2 more points in this event. It's match point to University of Nottingham Badminton. After Loughborough Sport had a match point, they played their power play at the start of this tiebreak. All the different aspects of the NBL, all on show for you in this tiebreak, and that's why we love this format. That's why the first season was so successful, so entertaining. That is, of course, why we're back as well. Match point, University of Nottingham Badminton. They can't take it. Loughborough Sport save it. We are going right down to the wire now. It's a 1-point shootout to decide the destination of this men's doubles event. It's Peter Briggs to serve it. Match point to both pairs. Briggs puts it down. The crowd on their feet here in the Sir David Wallace Arena. That is some comeback from Loughborough Sport, and that was a really, really good match.
That just shows off the NBL format and his greatest form there. Men's doubles is quite often the discipline that gets the excitement, the long rallies and the big smashes, the strong defence, and that was a really good example of it tonight.
Loughborough Sport now, here on match night 1, are 2-0 in front, and that puts all the pressure on the next match. It's the women's singles, Chloe Birch of Loughborough Sport against Yao Ji of University of Nottingham. Yao Ji, the debutant to the NBL, having travel issues with the delayed flights because of the weather as well. So it's all seemingly going against University of Nottingham at the moment.
Yeah, I think on paper, then Loughborough would hope that they would have won the men's and ladies doubles. I think Nottingham's strength possibly is in some of the other events. I think there are some that are quite close, but this tie certainly isn't over yet. I think Nottingham will fancy themselves in some of the other events, so one of them being this lady singles that's up next.
Yao Ji, very experienced, Chinese-born but emigrated to Holland, 38 years of age. It just shows you the pull of the NBL to not only be attracting young, upcoming stars from Europe, the continent, but established double Olympian, 11-time Dutch national champion. She brings a huge amount of experience here.
Yeah, she's a high-quality player. Has been inside the world's top 10, in ladies singles, and is a class act. How she deals with the fact that she's been shipped in, with the travel problems that she's had, and is she fully prepared mentally and ready for this battle against Chloe, who's one of England's up-and-coming players and has had some experience in this format from last season, so knows maybe a little bit more about the power plays and the timeouts and when to take them. But will certainly be relishing the opportunity to play someone of the calibre of Yao Ji.
Be a fascinating match. Yao Ji is a singles specialist, but as we say, during the first event here in Loughborough, we watched Yao Ji wheel her suitcase in. She has honestly just got off a plane within the last couple of hours. We weren't even sure. We had a contingency plan. Well, University of Nottingham Badminton had a contingency plan in place in case she didn't make it on time. But a player of her calibre should have, from experience at the very top level, be able to focus relatively quickly, even though she does only have a 60-second knock-up on the match court.
Absolutely, yeah. She would have been preparing, as we said before, in the warm-up area, and will be obviously is very experienced, is used to playing in front of crowds, so we'll be able to handle the occasion. The interesting thing for me in this game is obviously you've got the young player who's up and coming against the player who's seen it and done it, and probably not at the peak of her powers physically, but tactically and technically a high quality player. So can she deal with the pace and the power that Chloe will be able to bring to her?
Not long to wait to find out. As we say, the short 60-second warm-up on court is all that they get. They do have a warm-up area backstage here, but not very long to acclimatise to the arena court. As quickly as that, we are on to the third event of match night 1 here at Loughborough University. Loughborough Sport 2-0 to the good. Chloe Birch takes this one.
Thank you.
The match night
Chloe
itself
Birch to serve.
is won by Loughborough Sport, but just a reminder that each event won does count in the league table.
Serve, 1 love.
That's a good example of Yao Ji's quite fluid technique, that she hits the shot really nice and clean. But you know, Chloe's got that extra little bit of pace and power, and if she takes that to her, then it'll be interesting to see how she deals with it.
Yeah, you don't see Yao Ji as the kind of player that's going to be running side to side, sort of throwing herself around the court. She'll be the one that's looking to dictate the rallies. 18 years between them.
2-all.
Change of racket already for Yao Ji. Just getting a feel for that new racket. Too early on
It's
here.
unusual. She looks like she's actually got a completely different model of racket compared to what she started with. It's the players normally will have a bag full of rackets that are all the same, strung to the same tension. So you know, irrespective of which one they pull out of the bag, then it's an equivalent hitting experience. But this one looks a little bit different.
As it goes from Yao Ji. So Chloe Birch establishes the first 2-point cushion of this women's singles match. Clenched fist there from Chloe Birch. She's finding the corners very nicely, and perhaps she knows that Yao Ji's not quite going to be able to manoeuvre herself around as quickly as other opponents might.
Yeah, and I think just in these early stages, she's got a chance to sort of stamp herself on the game, hasn't she? And probably took a little bit of inspiration from seeing the Loughborough men's doubles pair come back from 2 games down, so is feeling very confident.
There again, just forcing Yao Ji to push herself around the court. It's one thing employing that tactic, but another thing altogether having the accuracy to execute it.
That's right. You know, Chloe used the power in her legs then to take the shot early and play a nice cross-court angle, so making it very difficult for Yao Ji to read what she was going to do, then also have to travel to get there as well. So she's obviously feeling pretty good. Like you say, we've seen a few clenched fists, and she's pumped and looking to win this game.
Yao Ji turns away from that one. It's 8-3 to Chloe Birch, and it's game point. Good rally, but Yao Ji not able to finish it off, so it's comprehensive in the first game for Loughborough Sport's Chloe Birch. 9-3 she takes it.
Yeah, I think in the last rally, Yao Ji threw all her technique at Chloe then, and she just soaked it all up and played with pace and power and was successful. So a really good start from Chloe there. I was expecting Chloe possibly to take the first set, but not quite as comprehensively as that. So it'll be interesting now if she can maintain her level, and if Yao Ji comes more into the game once she gets used to the pace and sort of the flight of the shuttle and the arena and the noise and all the other variables in there.
Well, that's it. She's got to settle very quickly to make those travel disruptions worth it. As we say, they've gone to great lengths to get here today for this match night. But in this quick-fire format, could get away from her very quickly. Yao Ji needing to use her experience here to settle. That's much more like what we're expecting to see from her.
Absolutely. She just made that extra little adjustment there, got to the right position to hit the shot and then hit the clean winner.
Chloe has got a look of determination on her face. She's steely-eyed and just determined to not be fazed by who she's playing, not be fazed by the occasion, just get on with her game. Worked well for her in the first game. Lets that one drop. Look over to the bench and up to the skies from Yao Ji. Manages to step in and take that one nice and quickly. 2-2 now.
Yeah, nice angle again. Forced a weak net shot and was in quite quickly to the net and played a nice kill.
It's another hand to the head from the service error. Vocals coming in now for Chloe Birch, just maybe trying to get the crowd warmed up a little bit more as well. 4-2 she leads.
She's working really hard, Yao Ji's very deceptive and it's hard to read where she's going to be putting the shuttle. So Chloe's having to work twice as hard to react to where the shuttle's going, and at the moment the pace that she's able to generate is high enough to keep herself in the points, and Yao Ji's just finding the errors.
Deadly accurate that time though, Yao Ji. Another little glimpse of what she's capable of. Chloe Birch just sort of read that one already, stepped straight in, made sure she was right on top of it. And it's just that reach down when it's dropped very low very quickly from Chloe Birch that Yao Ji's not quite able to pick up.
No, that's it, and the thing is she's moving to the net so early and taking the shuttle so early, it actually becomes a far more difficult shot for Yao Ji to play as well. So it's a really good tactic from Chloe Birch.
Chloe Birch with a wry smile on her face there. She was just asking the question. Yao Ji let it drop. It just dropped long.
That's a poor service though.
Exactly, yeah. Not the kind of service that's going to put Chloe Birch under any kind of pressure at all.
Especially when you work so hard to win the previous rally, and then to give the point away is quite cheap.
Chloe Birch worked exceptionally hard to keep herself in that rally, and she wasn't far away from winning it, but Yao Ji just starting to try and pull the strings a bit more. That's the perfect response again from Chloe Birch. 8-5 she leads now. It's game point to go 2 games in front. Well saved the first one at least by Yao Ji.
Well, it's the first time we've actually seen her be a little bit more aggressive. You know, a nice flat clear followed up by a good cross-court smash. So it'll be interesting to see if she takes a little bit more of that into the rest of the game.
Out it goes. Second game point saved. You feel that whatever Yao Ji has been doing has not quite been working against Chloe Birch, so it maybe is that try and take the rally a shot earlier or just try something slightly different.
Yeah, she's just sort of relied on her technique and to try and play the shuttle around the court and move Chloe around, whereas the last few points have been successful by being a little bit more positive and actually trying to do something rather than relying on Chloe losing it. So
Martin Lewis, the Nottingham coach, has had to tell Yao Ji what that pink shuttle's for. It's the power play. 2 points if Yao Ji wins this point. It gives her the second game. Pressure off the pulse radiates around the arena, and it is 2 points to Yao Ji off the power play shuttle. So with Chloe Birch having a game point there, that's a perfect example of the time to use the power play, and Yao Ji's turned it around. She wins the second game 9-8, and it's 1-1.
absolutely, yeah, that was a very popular win with the Nottingham team. They were all up off their feet, especially Adam Quilina was giving high fives to his teammates. So he's obviously really bought into this NBL franchise and is enjoying every minute of this game so far.
I think Yao Ji will be feeling a little bit better about it now. That's a good call from her coach Martin Lewis, because she was getting ready to serve with the regular shuttle. She'd saved 2 game points. And she was getting ready to try and save another one to level at 8-8. Martin Lewis said, look over there, get the pink one, it's worth 2, and she won the rally. So 9-8, she edged it. And we have got a contest on our hands now.
We have indeed. I think if Yao Ji can actually sort of learn from the last few points of the game about how she needs to play against Chloe, then she's still in with a good chance of taking this.
I feel that a player of her experience will be able to work out our opponent relatively quickly on court as well.
One love.
A couple of grimaces early on from Yao Ji. She's not particularly happy. Well, you don't sense that she's particularly happy with the way she's playing at the moment.
No, I think she just mistimed that one. She'd played a really good point up to then and had a chance to hit an attacking shot and almost like hit the top of the string, so it didn't come off quite as clean as she'd hoped.
I have to find her touch quite quickly here. Chloe Birch has responded perfectly from having that second game snatched away from her. 3-love up now. You see the display of the power that she does have. Manages to get to pretty much everything. Couldn't quite get that one back in though.
But again, another example of a slightly different attacking approach that she had in that rally was, proved successful for her.
Just wide again, Chloe Birch again looking up towards the umpire. She thought that backhand cross-court was just maybe caught the line. Not quite. Two, 3. That's the kind of angle she's got to find again.
Exactly, she held it, looked like she was going to play a straight one and sort of drew Yao Ji to go look for that one and then just pulled it cross court at the last minute, so really good use of deception.
Timeout. Time when you still it.
The umpire getting confused with some of the different rules in the NBL as well, saying a power play called by University of Nottingham. They've already played it, umpire. We're having a timeout instead. 45 seconds or so for the 2 coaches to come on.
15 seconds. 15 seconds. Thank you, coach. Thank you.
So 4-2, Chloe Birch leads, coming out of the timeout called by Martin Lewis, just trying to get Yao Ji
4-2.
refocused.
Play.
The clenched fist from Chloe Birch. 5-2 it is now.
It's always a significant point, the first one after the timeout. It's quite often the team that takes it wins that point. So for Chloe to maintain a concentration and keep the momentum is a big thing.
Just unable to pick that up from the tight angle right underneath the net. Yao Ji sticking with Chloe Birch, but not really able to get the game on her terms. You can just see that when Yao Ji does start to play those deft little shots, she has got plenty in her armoury.
Yeah, she's a very elegant player, sort of very relaxed and hits the shuttle very clean under normal circumstances. So, you know, Chloe's just got to stick with her and just sort of try and use her physicality to overcome Yao Ji's technique.
Yao Ji lets that one go long, so it's 5-5 now.
I think it's also important and a good learning curve for Chloe here that she needn't panic. She just needs to, it just looks like the last couple of points, then she's almost like overplayed it. She just needs to try and build the rallies as opposed to just go for everything and just keep the pace high. And I think she could well be successful in the game.
Goes again, cross court from Yao Ji. Couple of points in a row for Chloe Birch. 7-5 it is. Reaction again from Chloe Birch. She is quite animated on court. The gap just a single point again. Chloe Birch now has a game point to take the lead once again in this event.
Yeah, it was good pace again. You know, nice tight net shot, and then as soon as she got that opportunity, she got herself into position to hit it and played a really good smash.
Yao Ji with hands thrown up in the air in frustration because Chloe Birch has taken the third game, 9-6, and re-establishes her lead in this women's singles.
I think is also really carrying her momentum into through the game. Really, we spoke earlier about the Loughborough ladies doubles pair being that sort of steamroller and that sort of really aggressive force in the game. And I just think that Chloe's in a position where that she could, if she can continue in the way that she is, then she could overturn this the Dutch player and take the game. But Yao Ji's obviously got the quality. She can, we saw from the second game, then she can still pull the shots out. So provided that she can keep mobile enough and keep the error rate down, then this game's not over yet.
It certainly is not, but it's 2-1 in favour of Chloe Birch. If she wins this game, then Loughborough Sport win the match night overall here.
Fourth game.
The beginning of this new NBL season.
Leon, please, thank you. Fourth game.
So Yao Ji wanted to change the shuttle then, but because Chloe Birch is serving, then it's her decision whether they change it or not, and she refused, so possibly some mind games in there.
She'll draw on all of her experience. Yao Ji, you feel in any way possible that she can try and swing this event in her favour.
Please, play out. Thank you. Play out, okay?
Yao Ji being told to play on, but she's really not happy with the shuttle at the moment. But as you say, it is entirely
One love.
Chloe Birch's decision. And even if Chloe Birch looks at that shuttle and thinks, I don't want to play with that anymore, she's probably not going to give Yao Ji the decision.
It's unusual because I think the umpire has the final call, so if he sees that the shuttle is visibly damaged, then he could overrule and make a change. But clearly the shuttle's playable. Be interesting to see now whether Yao Ji has to change the shuttle.
After winning that point.
Yeah.
Just having another look at it. No, suddenly it's all right. 1-1.
2-1.
We said Chloe's looked completely unfazed during this match so far. Maybe that is Yao Ji's attempt to just try and disrupt her and upset her a little bit.
All.
Just caught the ground before being picked back up by Chloe Birch. But again, you see her athleticism there.
By the court, please.
Just need to get one of the court moppers on quickly. She was down on the ground there. Interesting to see whether Yao Ji can maintain a lead, because she's had to fight back from behind, and it's always been Chloe Birch in the ascendancy.
That's exactly the way that Chloe needs to play, sort of those fast clears to move Yao Ji away from the centre of the court, and then as soon as anything's loose, then to try and capitalise on it, which she did in that point really well.
Well left by Yao Ji, back in front by 2 points again, 4-2. Just building a lead now. Do you think those mind games at the start of this game might have had a little bit of an effect, subconsciously at least?
Possibly, yeah. You know, it just looks that Chloe's just panicked the last couple of points, and you know that there's a clear pattern that Chloe can play when she gets the opportunity to hit the smashes, but the opportunity needs to be there rather than force it too much. And she just sort of drifted away from that game plan a little bit in the middle of the set so far.
She rarely has more than 1 or 2 bad points, Chloe Birch, before she's able to just put those out of her mind and get straight back into it, and that is a key attribute in this format. Oh, Yao Ji watched that one a long way down, but it was called in. So Chloe Birch has level now, 5-5, 3 points in a row. Momentum back with the Loughborough Sport singles player. This time Yao Ji was right to let it drop.
6-5.
Catches the line from Yao Ji, 7-5, and at this stage of the game,
Timeout called by Loughborough.
Loughborough Sport have called a timeout. It's a rare situation, well, it's a new situation for Chloe Birch to be in, she's trailing at this stage of the game.
Yeah, think she's just drifted away from the game plan. You know, Yao Ji's been able to sort of dictate a little bit more what's happening in the rallies, and Chloe's gone either a little bit over-aggressive or a little bit passive, and has lost that middle ground where she's been so effective so far. So I would imagine that Mike Adams, the assistant coach of the Loughborough Sport, is just reminding her of where she's at and how she can be successful. And Neil White, the assistant from Nottingham, is probably saying the opposite and saying, you know, this is the way that you need to play. And you know, Yao Ji has been a little bit more positive and a bit more patient, and that's proven successful for her. So this game's finally poised still, I think.
It absolutely is. 7-5 in favour of University of Nottingham Badminton's Yao Ji. Trails by 1 game to 2 at the moment.
7-5.
But you feel a tiebreaker between these two, considering the way that this game has ebbed and flowed, will be a real spectacle. It's up to Yao Ji to get us there, but she didn't really set that one up very nicely at all. Chloe Birch says thank you very much.
6-7.
She gets that crucial first point out of the tiebreaker, out of the timeout as well.
Another high energy rally from Chloe there, sort of worked for the point, and when that opportunity came, then he forced the error out from the side and has enabled a match point.
It is match point because Chloe Birch has opted to take the power play shuttle. 2 points on offer for her if she wins this rally. 2 points and the match night for Loughborough Sport as well. It is in. Chloe Birch clenches her fist. She's beaten the experienced Yao Ji by 3 games to 1 on the power play shuttle, and Loughborough Sport, no matter what happens now, have won this match night, and they've made a strong start to this new NBL season.
Absolutely, they'll be really happy with that. Possibly on paper was one of the games that could have gone either way. I think Chloe fully deserved the win there. I think she was the most effective and most impactful player on the court, and really took advantage of the fact that the travel problems and the slow start that have affected the Nottingham team a little bit more. Yeah,
well, we talk about those travel problems. Yao Ji's husband is up on court next in the men's singles. Eric Pang, will represent University of Nottingham Badminton next. Henry Herskainen, a real fan's favourite here at Loughborough Sport. He's got his he entered earlier with his little Hoover pose. He's known as Henry the Hoover. The crowd really get behind him. He's even got his own chant already after 1 season of the NBL, which is absolutely brilliant. And it's just worth noting that each event does still count on a match night, even though the match night overall has been won by Loughborough Sport already, because there are only 2 events to come. The events count in the league table to a sort of the equivalent of a goal difference, if you like, an event difference. So it is still crucial for University of Nottingham to come out and play competitively and try and get 1 or 2 events on the board at the end of this match night.
Absolutely. If they want to make the top 4, then they just need to pick up as many points as they can, as they say. And you know, I think it's more important on a match night when things haven't gone all your way. If you can come away with 1 or 2 victories, then that can make all the difference at the end of the season.
They don't travel too well at all, University of Nottingham Badminton. Not a single match night victory for them last season. They're not going to win this match night either. Eric Pang is the man coming out to try and get an event on the board for them. We said we'd keep you up to date with what's happening on the game that's live on Sky Sports 4 tonight. The other game on match night 1 of the NBL season. Surrey Smashers are now 2-0 up against MK Badminton down in Surrey. Listen to that noise for Henry the Hoover Herskainen. Out he comes to a rapturous welcome, a very haphazardly made Hoover sign in the crowd. They're made from corrugated cardboard. I'm sure I'd appreciate that. But anyway, Henry Herskainen, he's brilliant to watch. He's very dynamic, he's very vocal, very entertaining. Good to watch. Always good to watch a left-hander as well.
Yeah, he's very stylish. He's, I mean, this game, both these players are very talented. You know, they play the game in a sort of very aesthetic and very sort of technical way, as opposed to some players who play the power game. So it'll be a very interesting clash of these 2 guys. They played each other a few times before, with Eric sort of normally being the higher ranked player, although he's at the sort of the back end of his career now, and recently retired from high-level international stuff. But it's obviously still really high-quality player and a really valuable addition to the NBL for the season.
He is indeed, and he takes over this season as the lead singles player for University of Nottingham Badminton from Scotland's Kieran Merrilees, who really took to this format, and he got the crowd on board with some decent wins, great performances as well. But Eric Pang, Kieran sort of a bit of a youngster, if you like, and brought a bit of fire and passion to the game. Eric Pang will bring a bit more sort of style, if you like. I don't want to do a disservice to Kieran Merrilees, but Eric Pang is an internationally renowned player.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are both cool customers. You know, they look like they're completely in control on court. Very rarely see much emotion from them. Whereas Kieran's approach to his badminton was very different. He wore his heart on his sleeve and you knew exactly what he was feeling on court. So this will be a different game of singles, I think, tonight.
Henry Herskainen has only lost once in the NBL, 5 wins in 6, although he did lose in the final to Rajiv Youssef, which was a turning point that really allowed Team Derby to take the overall victory in the season. But he'll possibly have been hurting from that a little bit, and he's had a little while in terms of NBL action to mull it over, but he'll want to come out fighting at the start of this new season.
Absolutely, considering he lost it 5-4 in the tiebreak as well, so you know it was a tough one if that's his only loss in the season, and it was 5-4 in a tiebreak against a guy who's in the top 20 in the world. So Henry's world ranking, I think, belies his level of talent and what he can bring to a badminton court. So what's for the fireworks now?
Stylish start from the Hoover. Just put Pang on the back foot there and then dropped the second one short. Well executed.
I mean, Herskainen can play shots that most people can only dream of, but his major problem, and I think the reason why he's not been higher in the world rankings, is occasionally he does lack a little bit of consistency and can, can come up with errors at poor times. So I think if he can keep his level high consistently, then his world ranking would shoot up, and he's more than capable of beating some of the top players in the world.
But it does mean that the matches that he plays in are all the more entertaining for that.
Absolutely.
The diving pickup from Herskainen, then he didn't connect with that one at all as he intended, but it almost dropped for him. Just long from Eric Pang, level again at 4-4, but Pang not particularly looking too troubled by his travel disruptions there. He looks quite sharp out there.
No, I think that was an interesting rally there. Both of them moving each other around the court quite nicely, and Eric's certainly showing no signs of any fatigue from travel.
Just trying to work each other out at this stage of the game. Haskainen opens up a 2-point advantage, 6-4. Eric Pang, after that very alert pickup when he was going completely the wrong way, then misjudges the depth of Henry Haskainen's return. 7-4 now. There you go, you see 3 points in a row from Haskainen, doing really well, getting the momentum, and then just an error creeps in.
Yeah, just thinking about how Eric is actually approaching this game, and I think the last rally sums it up really, that he hasn't really done a great deal. He's not really been the aggressor in any of the rallies. He's just quite happy to prolong the rally and see if Henry's going to make an error, and that might work up to a point, but if Henry's hot, then he's going to hit the shuttle through just as he did in that last point.
It's game point to Henry Haskainen.
Service over, 6-8.
One of them saved by Eric Pang. Two saved in a row. As you say, Eric Pang just content to keep himself in the rallies. Still game point Haskainen. Oh, nearly called that one around the back while he was on the floor, but it's 3 game points saved in a row by Eric Pang. And now it's game point to both players. Remember, no need to win by 2 clear points in the National Badminton League. 1st to 9 wins the first game. This would be some comeback from Pang. And that was almost the way to pull off that comeback. That was a stunning effort from Eric Pang, and it sort of teetered on the top of the net for a second or two to think whether it was going to go over. Henry Haskainen does take the first game by 9 points to 8, but this is going to be a cracker.
Yeah, I think that last point summed it up really, that Henry was the one who was actually trying to win the point. And Eric was really actually unlucky not to actually snatch that game from nowhere really. So, you know, he's feeling his way into the game. He doesn't look too troubled. But at the same time, Henry's looking pretty comfortable as well, and it's exactly what we expected. We've got 2 quality players playing some quality badminton, and let's go for game 2.
Haskainen took the first by the narrowest of margins. Eric Pang gets first blood in the second game. It's equally entertaining watching 2 players at the top of the game that it is the 2 players that are trying to feel their way into it, because here, you know, you're going to get some top quality, top draw shots pulled out of the bag. Both of them have got plenty in their locker.
And that's just like awesome from Haskainen there. Really deceptive return of serve, and then shuttles up in the air. It looked like he was going to smash straight, and cuts across the shuttle and brings it down really steep for a clean winner.
Got a little tap on the racket from Eric Pang as well. He finds the line with that smash straight down the line, so anything you can do.
For me, I think he needs to do that a little bit more when he gets that opportunity to be a little bit more aggressive and try and win some points as opposed to relying on Henry losing them. You know, because when he does play the longer rallies, then he's still with the chance of winning those as well. So he's got a good chance all around.
Not really a format that you can bide your time in this. That was a very nervous look over his shoulder there from Eric Pang to find the line judge call it out. Skynan not convinced at all. I don't even think for a second Eric Pang realised that had come back over the net.
No, he just left it.
Yeah. And luckily for him, just the wrong side of the line. Leaves that one and is right to do so as well. Eric Pang has come out firing in this second game. Warmed into the first game nicely to force it to the final point. He's continued that momentum. 5-1 he leads now. He's just pulling his shots out of the bag a lot more. He's being more aggressive. He's taking the game to Haskainen.
Yeah, he was just mixing up a little bit. The previous rally was that slow defensive, you know, wait to see what Henry's going to do, and then he just takes it to him, and it's just disrupting the flow of Henry's rallies as well, which is going to be to his advantage.
Good again from Pang.
7-1.
Yeah, good deceptive variation. He got a short lift because he played a really tight spinning net shot, and then it looked like he was going to hit the shuttle hard for a winner, but then just took all the pace out and still managed to win it.
Haskainen finally stops the run of points, but the gap is still pretty big. 2-7 it is now. Looking to close this game out as quickly as he can. He has a game point at 8-2.
Game point 2.
Hard to believe that we're still watching the same event here when the last game went down to 9-8. This one very firmly in University of Nottingham's favour at the moment. Polishes it off. 9-2. Did you see that coming?
Well, it's almost like he heard what we were saying at the end of set one, that he just needs to be a little bit more positive, take some of the rallies to Henry and actually try and win some points. And I think he demonstrated perfectly, you know, in that last game about, you know, the level that this guy's played at in previous years and the ability that he's got. He's able to play the long rallies and force a few errors, but then also increase the pace and put the shuttle on the floor.
1-1 then in the men's singles event here. 3-0 Loughborough Sport lead on the night. That's the same scoreline down at Surrey Smashers versus MK Badminton. Carl Baxter has beaten Sam Parsons 3-0 to make it 3-0 on the night for Surrey Smashers. So they're going to win the first match night live on Sky Sports 4, as Loughborough Sport have done here at the Sir David Wallace Arena. Eric Pang will just want more of the same. He wants to continue the momentum from the second game.
Eric Pang's growing more and more into this game. He's looking more comfortable. I think Henry needs to do something a little bit different now. That he's got to increase his speed. He's got to look for a few different angles, because I think Eric's started to read what he's doing and is being the sort of the dictator of the type of rallies that are being played.
Points in a row for After going too low down early on.
Yeah, ball one of the hardest shots to play in badminton, especially for the club players, around hitting that backhand smash overhead to generate the amount of force that Henry was able to do there. Showed really good technique.
Finding himself on the floor quite a lot, chasing Eric Pang's cross-court efforts mainly. His accuracy has been spot on, probably for Eric Pang, since the latter stages of the first game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, when he chooses to up the pace and actually look for those angles, he's been successful. And I think the more he's done it, the more he's realised actually this is probably the way to go. And it's almost by him doing that, it's stopping Henry doing that to him, which is Henry's strength as well. So it's working on both fronts.
3-2.
Fascinating to watch them try and figure out a way past their opponent.
4-2.
Trailing a couple of points in a row at the start of this third game. Header from the Hoover.
Again, it's just a slightly different angle to those that he's hit previously, and I think Pang was looking for the straight smash and then just cutting across it again, just changed the angle, changed the trajectory of the shuttle, and it was another clean winner.
Service over. 5-3.
Pang doesn't dwell on it for too long though. Again, he's moving Haskainen around to places that he doesn't want to be and can't get to.
6-3. Timeout.
Yeah, took that shuttle nice nearly again, looked like he was going to hit it with some pace. Cut all the pace out of it at the last minute for a nice deceptive drop shot.
Timeout called by Loughborough Sports coach Andy Wood. Just try and want to get Haskainen to find a way to combat Eric Pang at the moment.
Yeah, the pace of the rallies that Henry plays all the time is very flat, very fast. There's no variation in that. And I think from the middle of the first set, then Eric's become accustomed to that. So Henry needs to do something a little bit different, whether it is playing a little bit slower, whether it is bringing in, playing a little bit softer, especially from the backhand side, and just having a little bit more variation, just to throw Pang off his game a little bit, because at the moment you can't see anyone else winning other than Pang.
6-3. Play.
Straight down the middle from Haskainen. Reaction time not quick enough from Eric Pang. First point out of the timeout goes Loughborough Sports' way.
And again, the way he approached that rally, it was a little bit softer from the back of the court, a little bit more simple from the net, and then when the smash opportunity comes, then he puts it away. So it was almost like he was listening to us again.
Just not been able to get a run of points at the moment, Haskainen. Pang disrupting every time he threatens to get any momentum. Long it goes from Pang. 5-7.
Good play again from Haskainen. Again, some higher clears, some slower drops. Just adding that little bit of variation.
brilliant from Eric Pang defensively, but Haskainen kept coming. Make sure he eventually claims the point, but he's been made to work very hard for each and every single one of them.
Yeah, it's become an attritional battle now. I think they both got the measure of each other. They both pretty much know what each other are going to do, so it's who can exert that influence on the other more, and who can be error-free.
Just a point in it. 1-1 in games, 6-7 in this third game. Keep seeing the example of Eric Pang staying in the rally until Haskainen makes a mistake, and that mistake has handed game point to his opponent. 8-6 Eric Pang, and a chance to go in front at 2-1. Not able to convert it this time. Haskainen still in this one. Going to take the power play shuttle by the looks of it, Haskainen. So this is game point to both players. Either way, one of them's going to go 2-1 in front. The drama of the NBL, this is exactly what we want to see. The power play has been used effectively so far on this match night. Can Haskainen make it work in his favour? No is the answer. Eric Pang does really well in what was a very tense rally. He looks out of puff there, Eric Pang, but he's 2-1 in front. He wins the third game, 9-7. This is absolutely brilliant to watch.
Of all the times that you don't want to break a string in your racket is on game point, on your power play, when you're in control of the rally, and he bust about 4 strings in one hit. So
wants to stop hitting it too hard then, doesn't it? Eric Pang won't mind at all.
Absolutely not, absolutely not. So Henry's used his power play plus his 2-1 down.
It's looking like a long way back for the Hoover, but there's plenty of home support here for him still. Eric Pang seeking to get University of Nottingham Badminton's first event on the board.
Yeah, I think you've got to fancy Pang to take this one, but I think Henry showed at the back half of that last game that if he can adapt the way that he plays to be a little bit more variation, and he's still in with a shot. So I think he showed enough then to not write.
Fourth game.
Absolutely. Didn't lose a single event in the regular NBL season last year, Henry Haskainen.
1-love.
You've got to say that's a missed opportunity for Eric Pang, because Haskainen was never going to get to wherever he put that shuttle.
No, he did well to get out of the way of it, to be fair. He kept himself in the point, and uncharacteristic mistake from Pang there.
Kind of shot that is definitely going to get the crowd on Haskainen's side and just give him that extra little boost. Really well to get down to that.
He did. It was a tough one to play, and especially to play it with control cross court as well. So he got himself out of some big trouble there.
Service over.
And there was an example of Henry almost having too many shots. His imagination, he saw that shot, really difficult to execute, and just didn't quite catch it in the middle of the string. So, you know, a lesser player would have played something a little bit more basic, but could equally have been a winner. bad time for Pang to break a string as well. Control of the rally, easy kill. The error comes in.
Haskainen 4-2 up then, but trailing by 1 game to 2.
Service over.
Even if that had dropped over there, I don't think Pang was going anywhere near it. He was
University
happy
of
to
Nottingham Badminton
sit and
claiming a
watch that.
timeout.
Timeout called by University of Nottingham Badminton. Eric Pang looks to be struggling
Well, I think
physically
they called the
there, doesn't he?
timeout so he can get his breath back,
Yeah.
I think.
Those longer rallies might well play into Henry Haskainen's hands because Eric Pang looks very, very tired here.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, that, you know, he's not training full time anymore, so his conditioning will have dropped slightly. Obviously, he's only just finished playing, so you know, his level of conditioning will still be very high. But you know, in comparison to Henry, who's still training full time and competing on the world circuit, then
15 seconds.
if Henry can keep the shuttle in the court long enough, then I think he's got to fancy his chances. You're looking across the net at how Eric is.
There's obviously the travel disruption that Eric and his wife Yao Ji suffered en route here to Loughborough, delayed flights because of the foggy weather. That could also be playing a part here, but let's not forget he is 2-1 in front and he's only trailing 3-4.
Play.
Does look visibly fatigued.
He does look fatigued, but men's singles at world level is brutal, you know. So these guys are well used to pushing themselves through, you know, the pain barrier and maintaining the level over a long period of time.
Polishes that one off, but you feel we've been talking about Eric Pang. He's been playing the longer rallies. He's been forcing Haskainen to make mistakes rather than killing the rallies himself. You'd feel that he might be better served to be a bit more attacking, make the rallies a bit shorter.
It's a great deceptive angle again from Haskainen. Trying to make it look like he's going to punch one down the line and just pulled it across court. Just makes it really, really taxing on Pang's legs because he's having to wait and react to where the shuttle's going before he can move.
Shake of the head and a look over to the bench from Eric Pang. It's 5-5. Still pull the shots out of the bag, make no mistake about it. Still got his power play, remember, Eric Pang as well. I feel if he wins this point, we might see him take that. Easier said than done, winning the point though, and a little slip there didn't really help him.
Well, I think that slip was created by another phenomenally deceptive return of serve from Haskainen. It's so hard to read what he's going to do. Just technically, the way that he approaches the shuttle is the same all the time. So you just can't predict where the shuttle's going to go. So it's incredibly stressful when you're on the other side of the court receiving that. And just like physically on the legs, and you're just having to wait and react. It's the added thing that's draining some of the energy away from Pang, I think.
Eric Pang finding every single drop of sweat on the court there to make sure he's got as much of a break as possible between points. Skyner keeps turning the screw though. 7-6, he's back in front now at this crucial stage of the fourth game. It's looking increasingly laboured from Eric Pang. But the mistake comes from Herskainen. It's 7-7. The knowing nod to the bench from Eric Pang means that he will take the power play. It is match point to University of Nottingham's Eric Pang. He'll want this over and done with as quickly as possible. I don't think he's got many more points left in him, Eric Pang. 2 points available to him on this power play, match point. Herskainen says no though. He goes 8-7 in front, has a game point of his own to take us to a tie-break.
Played that point really well there. He was cagey, but just didn't hit anything anywhere near Pang to make him run for everything. Found a great angle for a winner.
How quickly this format turns on its head. At 7-7 with the power play, Eric Pang was a point away from victory. Now it's 8-7 Herskainen, and we're a point away from a tie-break. Herskainen gets it. Tie-break, here we come. 9-7 in the fourth game in favour of the Swede. You've got to favour him now for the tie-break. You have to.
You would think so. I mean, Pang looks dead and buried. He looks physically completely shot, but it's 5 points. That's all it is. So, you know, he'll be telling himself now that all I've got to do is I've just got to get 5 points, maybe even 3 points. So this is where the format, especially with the tie-break format in the final set, can really still advantage the older players or the players who aren't playing as much, or if you're completely fatigued during the course of the game. So it's almost like that fighter's chance, isn't it? The puncher's chance in a boxing match.
Absolutely. Eric Pang has got to put the last 4 games out of his mind now. He's got to forget how tired he is. As you say, all he needs is 3 points in a row. Brilliant rally to start off the tie-break, and it's a Herskainen mistake at the net that hands the advantage to Eric Pang.
Under normal circumstances, you think that it almost didn't matter whether Henry won that rally or not because of the damage it would have done to Pang, but as we said before, he only needs 2 more points. So in this format, he needed to win that point.
It did. A reminder in this tie-break, it's first to 3 clear points or first to 5, whichever comes sooner. So this is match point to Eric Pang to take the tiebreak of 3-love and to get University of Nottingham Badminton on the board on this match night. And he finishes it off by heading it straight at Herskainen. It was a brilliant contest to watch. It flowed from one way to the other, but it is Eric Pang, the NBL debutant, who hands Henry Herskainen just his 2nd defeat in this format. And University of Nottingham Badminton have got an event on the board.
Yeah, I think the way that Pang's played that game, I think he deserved his win. And again, it just highlights the sort of complexity of the format and the fact that what you think is going to happen doesn't always.
Mixed doubles to come then to round off the first match night of this brand new NBL season. 4-0 Surrey Smashers now lead on the Sky Sports 4 game. 3-0 victory in the women's doubles for Surrey Smashers, so they're making a strong start to the season. They made a strong start last season as well, and many favoured them for the title on finals day, but they ultimately fell short in the playoffs. So Surrey Smashers 4-0 up, Loughborough Sport 3-1 up here at the Sir David Wallace Arena with one more match to come. It's Andrew Smith and Jenny Warwork of Loughborough Sport against Chris Adcock and Cheryl Synan of the University of Nottingham Badminton, and the third of the new Dutch signings for the University of Nottingham, another one that was struggling with the travel disruptions earlier on, but we've seen it sort of work both ways. Yao Ji looked possibly a little bit laboured against Chloe Birch, who just got the job done there, but Eric Pang, despite looking absolutely shattered, managed to win his match. So possibly can't read too much into it for Cheryl Synan, but she's a bit of an unknown character, not particularly well known on the international circuit, or certainly not here in Britain anyway.
She is, but she's playing with the world number 7 mixed doubles player in Chris Adcock, and the captain of the University of Nottingham Badminton team. So you would think if she was going to play with anyone to bring her into the NBL in a nice controlled way, it would be Chris. Playing against Andrew Smith and Jenny Warwork from Loughborough Sport, then again you would fancy the Nottingham pair on paper, but as we've seen so far this evening, even what we think on paper doesn't always happen the same on the court.
That's why this format is so exciting. That's why it's been taken to so well, and that's why international players such as Cheryl Synan are wanting to come over to Britain here to play in this competition. She is a Dutch international, Cheryl Synan. A couple of international titles this year as well. So as you say, she's got a strong pedigree. She also managed to watch the NBL on this live stream, so she'll have been witnessing some quality matches that we saw last year. And she, like Adam Quilina, who the first Polish player to play in the NBL, saw it, wanted to be a part of it. Now she is here to make her debut. There were questions as to whether she would or would not make it, but she has done. And as you say, she teams up with Chris Adcock to make what could be a formidable partnership.
Absolutely, the pedigree that Chris brings to the game is absolutely undoubted. The top GB players at the moment, and recently competed well in the Bitburger Open in Germany, losing in the final, and have played well in the Danish and the French Super Series as well, getting through to semi-finals. So, banging form, top quality player. But I'm quite intrigued by the Loughborough mixed doubles pair. Jenny Warwork was a former world-ranked mixed doubles player, and she played with Nathan Robertson. Not playing as much so at the moment, concentrating on her other activities, including her foundation, which is she's recently started. And Andrew Smith, who's more of a singles player and has spent a lot of time out in Asia and been a very successful singles player for England, and is taken to the mixed court today.
Somewhat of an enigma, Andrew Smith, shall we say. 30 years old, world ranking high of 17, so he's got a strong experience at the top level. He's back playing regularly after a little while away. He's averaging somewhere around a 90% win ratio on the domestic circuit this season, so he's finding some of his old form. Sometimes you're not quite sure what you're going to get with it.
No, I think he's obviously enjoying playing badminton again. What he does bring to the game is a pretty fearsome smash, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get it through, an equally fearsome defence of Chris Adcock. So I'm intrigued by this game.
Short delay while Chris Adcock ties his laces, but we are ready for the final event of match night 1.
There's a statement of intent from Chris Adcock there. There's no messing around here. It's straight on the floor when he gets half a chance.
Straight back it comes from Andrew Smith. unable to wrap his racket all the way around. A few quick fire points at the start of this mixed doubles.
Service over, 2-all. Service over, 3-2. Service
Both
over,
players just feeling each other out at the moment.
Yeah, it's a pretty edgy start so far. We just need to settle into the game a little bit.
service over, 4-3.
Just a couple of mistakes creeping in amongst every player out there at the moment.
I think they all know that the margin for error is so small, so anything loose over the net is going to be killed. And at the moment, they've just not quite got the range of how flat to play it and how loose they can go.
5-4. Service over, 5-all.
Trading points all the way up to 5 each in this first game. No more than 4 or 5 shots per rally at the moment either.
5.
It's a difficult one to get into, this.
6-all.
It's proving that for the players, it's proving that for the crowd.
There's no real pattern of play that you can determine so far.
Just caught the frame of Cheryl Sinan's racket, that just took it a touch long. 7-6.
Was out.
Out, says the umpire. 7-7.
7-all.
Well, here we go. We're finally into a bit of a rally anyway. It goes the way of the University of Nottingham Badminton side. 8-7 to Chris Adcock and Cheryl Sinan. Game point. There's another one of those mistakes, uncharacteristic again from Adcock, so it's game point to both pairs now, 8-8. And the Nottingham pair take it, 9-8, but we're not really any closer to knowing who's going to come out on top in this event.
No, absolutely. I said on paper that the Nottingham pair look like the clear favourites for this, but the first game has shown that nothing's nailed on. I sat here last year in Nottingham and said that there's absolutely no way that Toby Penty and Jess Pugh would ever beat Chris Adcock and Chloe McGee, so I'm not going to make any predictions about this game because Toby and Jess certainly proved us wrong on that occasion. So let's see where we go in game 2.
That's the beauty of the NBL. You can never quite predict exactly what's going to happen. I think there's a lot more to come from this mixed doubles match. I think we can possibly predict that.
Play. One left. Service over. 1-all.
It's just
Service
error
over.
after error at the moment.
2-1.
Yeah, we said that around the net and the service area in doubles is very tight, very low margin for error. So at the moment the rallies are falling foul of that. No one wants to give anything away.
Service over. 2-all. Service over. 3-2.
is much more like it from both pairs. That's much more like it for the form of entertainment as well. 3-3, the longest rally of the match so far, and a bit of a better spectacle from both.
Yeah, I think the ladies were really good in the close exchanges around the net, and then as soon as Andrew Smith gets the opportunity to hit that big smash, then if he hits it when he's in a good position, then he's got a very good chance of winning the point.
4-3.
Not had a lot of opportunity to pull that shot out of the bag at the moment.
Let's.
Three or four displays of good defence from Loughborough Sport. But the University of Nottingham Badminton, who reduced the deficit 4-5. Jenny Warwork thought a couple of times about, shall I hit it? How am I going to hit it? In the end, didn't hit it. 5-5.
I thought for a moment that when Chris hit it, he was thinking he was going to be wearing the next one, but fortunately it was just out of the reach of Jenny there.
To be a little bit cute at the net, Cheryl Synan. Not far away, just wide. Again, it's nip and tuck again. They're trading points, 6-6.
Good speed from Chris Adcock there. One of his major attributes in his mixed game is the pace and the power that he brings into the mid-court area, and he was really quick onto that and punched it into the corner for a winner.
8 game points.
Well, Chris Adcock and Cheryl Synan have a game point to take a 2-game lead. Take it, 9-6 it is.
9-6.
Chris Adcock and the NBL debutant Cheryl Synan, 2 games to the good in the final event of match night 1.
Yeah, they're looking quite comfortable in a game where there's not been that much comfort. It's been very, very scrappy. There's been quite a few errors, around the net area, but certainly when the rallies open out, then the vast majority of those are being won by the Nottingham pair. So, I think if they can maintain that, then they've got a very good chance of seeing this one out.
And in the overall context of this season, I know it's very early doors, but as you say, to come away as University of Nottingham have done here to Loughborough, and to lose the match night overall already, but to take a couple of events away with you feels good, especially because it will be the last 2 events of the match night.
Yeah,
they are crucial overall.
Yeah, it'll certainly set them up for match night 2 and the rest of the season. That they'll feel that they've got games that they can rely on when they go into the next set of fixtures.
It's much better to lose a match night 2-3 than it is to lose it 4-1 or 5-0.
Service over, 1-2.
it's good defence from Loughborough there, and they almost turned it back around to gain an advantage, but just a little bit of variation from Sign, and then just taking the pace out at the last minute just was the decisive factor in that rally.
Quite a smiley character as well, isn't she? There was a little clenched fist after that. She's enjoying herself out there. That's another very good shot to pull out. Not a lot of time to think about it.
3-2.
You know, we've spoken earlier about the English players that are getting the opportunity to play against and with some of these more experienced stars, and you know, it's exactly the same for Cheryl Synan. It's probably signed for Nottingham on the basis that she's probably going to play some mix with Chris Adcock, and that's a great development opportunity for her.
Interesting time to see the power play employed at 3-2, right in the middle of game 3 here. Usually used for more crucial points. Adcock finishes it off, so it is 2 points University of Nottingham Badminton. Gives them a 3-point advantage in this game, but what it also does is prevents their opponents from using the power play.
Timeout claimed by Loughborough Sport.
I think that was the reason for them taking it, and because if it had got close, it was a good opportunity for Loughborough then to take this set. But yeah, I think you've called it well there, Rob.
Just shows you the value of that power play, because as I say, we have seen it seen it used to win matches a lot of the time in the sort of business end of the game, if you like, but that is just good knowledge of the format there from the University of Nottingham pair.
15 seconds. 15
The added bonus
seconds.
to stopping your opponents having the power play, if you win the point, it's worth 2 rather than 1 as well, which is always nice. 5-2 then. As we come out of the timeout.
5-2. Play.
First point out of the timeout goes Nottingham's way as well.
Nice idea from Adcock there, just trying to add a little bit of variation rather than hitting with pace all the time, but just didn't quite catch it in the middle of the strings.
Loughborough Sport hanging on in there at the moment.
That's well read from Warwick there. She saw that opportunity, was alert to it, and punished the slightly high return.
Power from Cheryl Synan, finding herself at the back of the court. 7-5. It stops a run of 3 consecutive points for Loughborough Sport as well. That's into the net overhead from Warwick. It's match point to Chris Adcock and Cheryl Synan. That's not what you'd expect from Chris Adcock at all, miles away. But the University of Nottingham Badminton do convert their second match point. They take the third game, 9-6. They win the mixed doubles by 3 games to 0. And that means overall on this match night 1, it finishes Loughborough Sport 3, University of Nottingham Badminton 2. Plenty on show tonight, Neil, to show that the second season of the NBL is going to be just as exciting as the first.
Yeah, it's been an interesting fixture. The fact that Loughborough got off to such a strong start and Nottingham come back with a bit of a rearguard action, and was on balance was probably about right. A 3-2 win for Loughborough.
University of Nottingham Badminton don't historically travel very well, but they'll be very pleased to take away 2 events, as you say, in such fashion of coming back from 3-0 down.
Yeah, absolutely, and it'll give them confidence for the rest of the season. I think they've got some high-quality imported players that can provide a high level of badminton for the team, but also, a learning experience for some of their younger players.
Well, that's it from the Sir David Wallace Arena here at Loughborough University for match night 1 of the new National Badminton League season. Just a reminder, match night 2 on Monday the 30th of November. 2 more fixtures to come for you. Live on Sky Sports, it's Birmingham Lions versus the University of Nottingham Badminton at the iconic Great Hall at Birmingham University. And live on the stream for you, as we've delivered for you tonight, Team Derby versus Surrey Smashers, the champions, back in action for the first time in the new season. They're out to defend their title. This match will be available to re-watch in a couple of days' time, so on Wednesday the 4th of November from the National Badminton League website, nationalbadmintonleague.co.uk for that. Make sure you stay in contact between now and the next match night at NBL_official on Twitter, and of course the National Badminton League website will have all the information that you need. It's finished here at the Sir David Wallace Arena. Loughborough Sport 3, University of Nottingham Badminton 2.